Hey, so as I was looking back on my videos, I realized that I did not explain to you about the situation that we had with the word baskets in our Old Testament example. So I'm going to show you really quick. The word baskets was not in our book concordance. So I wanted to show you why that was. Okay, and this is a really good example, but I did want to clarify and not leave that as a problem unsolved. We're going to go to our Blue Letter Bible online. I'm going to move this over here, guys. I'm going to go back, and I actually went up the same way that I've already showed you already, and I typed in the Psalms 81:6 and it pulled it up, and it says, I removed his shoulder from the burden, his hands were freed from the basket. That's what it says in our text, but if you look down, I popped up, this is why we could not find it in that commentary, because the actual word was his hands were delivered from the pots. Do you see that? So the Hebrew word is going to be 1731 that we're going to click. And so it means a literal pot, jar, basket, kettle. From 1730, a pot for boiling. Also, by resemblance of shape, a basket. So this, if you go back, we were trying to determine if it literally meant a basket. I removed his shoulder from the burden. In other words, he took the weight off. His hands were delivered from the baskets or the pots. If you will remember, in the Old Testament times, they would put a stick across the back of their shoulders here, a big long stick, and on either side of the stick there would be baskets that hung down, and they would fill those baskets with water, and they would use their shoulders and their hands holding onto this stick, and that's how they would carry the water. So this verse is literally meaning I removed his shoulder from the burden, which was the weight of the water. His hands were delivered from the baskets or the pots. So that's what this verse means. I hope that makes sense to you. I did not want to leave that as a problem unsolved. So if we were to go in right now and we were going to look in the exhaustive concordance, I bet if we go over and look at the actual word pots, P-O-Q-R-S, we're going to look at the word Q-R-S, pots, P-O-T-S. There we find our example. Okay, we're looking at the word. I can't see if you guys can see it this way. Hang on. Let me fix my camera so that I can tell that you're seeing this. Okay, so we're going to go in here, and I found the word pots. The word pots. You see that word? And then you see here it has our Psalms 81 verse 6. So his hands were delivered from the pots. So that's why we couldn't find it in the word baskets. So that again is another great example of why it's so important to look these words up. If we think about a basket today, we're probably thinking like a wicker basket, okay? But what if we look at the word pots, it made it a little bit easier to understand. These were water pots, like clay pots that would hang down. So it wasn't a basket that something could pass through. See, it didn't make sense. I removed his shoulder from the burden and his hands were delivered from the baskets. It didn't, what does that mean? You've got him in handcuffs with baskets. So that makes it a little bit easier to understand. So sorry I didn't clarify in the first video, but I did not want to let that go unsolved.